So, as most of you guys are aware, the Black Panther game that was being worked on by EA is now magically canceled, and nobody saw it coming. The developers right now are on social media trying to tell everybody that they had no idea that this game was going to be canceled, and I believe them because EA keeping themselves separate from the studio and not telling them exactly what was going to go down is not exactly very shocking information. But here is what is shocking information. This information that I'm about to tell you and go over in this video is going to talk to the larger and bigger subject, which is these studios have no idea what they're doing. They are employing activists that literally do not have the skill to do these video games that are being asked of them to do. And it's being proven more and more and more as we now have a second example, and I'm sure there's more, but we're going to talk about two examples in today's video of video games that have been canceled that were in 3 to 4 years of development, and these developers had absolutely nothing to show for it and wasted over $100 million on this project that never even got outside a pre-development phase. Yes, Black Panther was canceled because apparently it was not far enough along in development for EA to want to waste another 4 to 6 years and hundreds of millions of dollars in order to produce. So before we get into it, guys, special shout out to all of you 89,100 plus legends that are subscribed to this channel right now. And the almost 50% of you that are not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button today. I would greatly appreciate it. So again, we have an article here with a headline from Insider Gaming that says Black Panther was canceled because it wasn't far enough along in development. Apparently, according to Insider Gamer, it says earlier this week it was revealed that EA had canceled the in-development Black Panther game and shut down its developer, Cliffhanger Studios. Thanks to a new report from Jason Schreier, there is some more information regarding why the game was canceled. Per the report from Schreier, the cancellation was viewed as a shock to the employees of the studio. Is it really a shock, though? This is the problem. These activists that are over in the gaming industry, they are so disconnected from reality, it's insane. So when reality ends up knocking on their door like it always is, they want to pretend to be shocked over the outcome of their actions. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this is what's going to happen. You guys are choosing to do these things. You guys are choosing to play and make these games the way that you want to make them, and they are not what your gamers are telling you they want. You guys don't listen to people. You think you're so above everyone. You think you're never wrong. The narcissism is running through this industry rampant, and it's uncontrolled, and it needs to be controlled. Otherwise, reality is going to come control it for you. But in any case, Cliffhanger reportedly had no idea about this, and they were even actively hiring new employees with the Black Panther game recently hitting a new internal milestone. However, despite hitting the milestone, there was frustration within EA. I highly doubt it hit in any reasonable milestone. I highly doubt it, because if it did, EA would at least be willing to give it maybe another year or so to see if there's any life in it. But to be quite frank, there clearly wasn't any life in it at all, because they decided to get rid of it completely. But according to Schreier's sources close to the game's development, EA executives were frustrated that the game had not yet left the pre-production phase after nearly 4 years in development. So this is where we're going to crisscross some stories right now. So this game was in development for about 4 years, right? We don't know how much they spent on this game, by the way, but I got to imagine it's over $100 million. The reason why is because Wonder Woman from Warner Brothers and Monolith Studios, right? Wonder Woman got canceled, and everybody knows they spent over $100 million trying to make this game, and they got basically nothing to show for it because they were in the same situation. The developers over there at Monolith Studios, the new ones, whoever they were incapable of making anything that even resembled the video game after 3 years of development and over $100 million of money being spent on the project. They had nothing to show for it. This game was in development for almost 4 years and had nothing to show for it. It didn't even leave the pre-production phase. So it's very clear that they must have spent well over $100 million on this game very easily. I gotta imagine the number's probably even higher than that, considering it's a Black Panther game, and that's not exactly very cheap. But in any case, as far as why it was taking so long for the game's development, which began in 2021, but was announced in 2023, the studio had just started to increase its staff count. The reporter says that many of the workers at Cliffhanger Studios had been hired within the last year, Some, Schreier says, were only hired with the developer for as little as months and even weeks. And that's because they were probably operating on a skeleton crew. Now, keep in mind, this skeleton crew for a company like EA is probably around 50 to 100 developers, right? That's their like skeleton crew. Whereas a full-on studio, a full-on crew, it's probably 200 plus people for a game of this magnitude. So they were working with a skeleton crew for almost 3 years now, or 4 years. I'm sorry, 3 years was Wonder Woman. They clearly spent insane amount of money, and these people have nothing for it. It is actually kind of sad. And this is the problem that we are dealing with in the gaming industry, the lack of talent from the people that you are forcing into these positions that don't actually earn it and don't actually do a proper job. Their product is going to suffer. Their skills are going to show, or I should say their lack of skills is going to show. Eventually, it's only a matter of time. And the smaller these teams become, the more obvious these issues become as well, because they cannot be saved by the nerd that knows what he's actually doing because he's not working there, right? If you have a bunch of these activists that are taking up the majority of the positions and the amount of nerds that are working there are very minimal, needless to say, the problems are going to rear their ugly head pretty quickly and pretty easily, no matter how much you may try to hide it. But Insider Gaming has made multiple attempts to reach the studio for comment on how many employees were being moved to other studios and the exact number being let go. As of publishing, no response has been received. You're not going to get one. You're not going to get a response, most likely. I got to imagine they're going to try to keep this close to the chest as much as they can, because let's be real. They already know what the conversation is in the gaming industry. They know the negative sentiment that's affecting everywhere right now. Isn't it ironic that we have two diverse original characters that are going to be canceled and never see the light of day for their video game because they were being made by these overly ridiculous activists that claim their diversity is their strength, but they can't make a single freaking game to save their life? And even when they have an easy layup like Black Panther or Wonder Woman, they have no idea what to do with it because they're trying to make those diverse, even though it already technically is. It is kind of sad, right? Keep in mind, EA says that they are still going to go through with a 3-game plan from Marvel Studios and EA collaboration. It says right here that despite Black Panther being canceled, EA has gone on the record to say that there will still be 3 Marvel games released, including Motive's Iron Man. They said our partnership with Marvel remains strong and our multi-title long-term collaboration continues, EA statement on the matter read. So what does this mean? That means there was a 4th game that was being worked on that nobody knows about. Because if they said that they were going to do a 3-game deal and one of these games got canceled, that means there was a 4th game that was in production that nobody knew about. So now it's down to an actual 3 count. Whether or not they see it through, who really knows? But at this point, it's pretty clear that if EA was willing to cancel a diverse game like Black Panther, and diverse by their standards, by the way, not by any real standards, they are willing to cancel an original black character, but I guarantee you they're going to end up releasing a character that is not originally black. And that game, if it ends up being successful, all the activists are going to lose their mind because they're going to say, well, why didn't you release this game about a diverse original black character, but you're over here releasing Iron Man and that game is massively successful? And let me guess, it's because he's white. They're going to come up with every excuse under the book and attack EA for this. I'm sure they realize this, but clearly they don't care, because the amount of money they were losing helping to develop this game was way worse than anything else. And we saw it happen with Wonder Woman 2. Wonder Woman, a literal female-led video game. This is what the activists should all be loving and praising. This game couldn't get off the ground because it was being made by people who are insane. If you knew some of the writers that were working at Monolith Studios that was writing for Wonder Woman, and one of the lead writers too is an absolute insane woman. We've done I think a couple of videos on her. You'll realize very quickly that it's not looking pretty, and you'll understand very quickly why these games got canceled. So we're going to see what ends up happening with this particular video game. EA has decided that it is not worth it, and gamers probably dodged a bullet. There has been leaked screenshots, FYI. I can't show them in this video due to copyright. I'm sure EA would go around copywriting a bunch of YouTube channels that show that footage, but there is, in fact, leaked screenshots of this Black Panther video game, and oh my god, is it bad. It looks like the previous, look, there was a developer on this game called Danny Lalanders, and she helped make a game called Validate. And this video game was made by an all-black team because she said she doesn't feel safe around white people. So she made this game and specifically only hired black people. She discriminated, racially in the hiring practice, but she did it anyway. Made that video game. If you look at the concept art, it literally looks like Validate. I'm not kidding. Go look at the concept art. It's available on X, it's available everywhere. Just Google Black Panther game concept art and you're going to see what exactly I'm talking about. Those sketches look just like this. This is the game she worked on prior, and it looks just like this. It looks like Validate. It's the same sketch style, same art style. It actually is kind of insane. Can you imagine a Black Panther game with an art style like this, with a presentation like this? Because that's exactly what they were going for. So it's not exactly very shocking as to why this game got canceled and why EA said, you know what, maybe it's not worth it. So I think we dodged a bullet, but let me know in the comments down below. What are you thinking? Would you like to have seen a Black Panther game from EA? Do you think they could have did a good job, or do you think it was cooked from the start? Let me know whatever your thoughts are in the comments down below. And special shout out to all of the Bigot Army members who are part of this channel. Thank you so much for hitting that join button. And if you are not currently joined to the channel, consider hitting that join button today. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.